Tell Kevin to shh.
Welcome to another edition of the Power is Within podcast here tonight. Just for a few minutes, my daughter's getting ready to go to
Show choir.
show choir. Hit that like button and subscribe. And join us here December 3rd this year, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to have a low battery here. This is a last minute deal here. We're going to have King Dre, Afi Kingdom, and AV Alpha Villains here for a special show. Be a lot of good game gold nuggets here for you guys needing to learn something about how to deal with the opposite sex. So today's topic is, where are all the real men? Paulina, we're going to ask Paulina. Paulina, where are all the real men?
Not here. That's all I know. I don't know where they are, but they're not around here.
What seems to be the problem?
They're all a bunch of wussies, I feel. They're raised by their moms, so I mean, they don't really have a father figure around the home, or he's there physically but not mentally.
So what you're saying is you see the mom as the boss of the household, running the show,
Yeah.
and the man is passive, and so what happens to the boys?
He just becomes kind of simpy and I guess a mama's boy, so used to like having a girl coddle him all the time.
Well, I see something that actually I read a post by a dating coach the other day. He was bad-mouthing Tate. Well, he was disagreeing with Tate. I won't say he was bad-mouthing him, but he thought he was a bad example for the youth of today. And then he went on to speak about men need to be more vulnerable and share their feelings.
Frank?
No, that's the neighbor. The neighbor. We got a neighbor over there that's working on cars. So
Oh, yeah.
he said men need to be more vulnerable sharing their feelings. What do you think about that?
I don't think so. I feel like a guy should kind of keep his feelings to himself to a certain extent. I mean, if it gets to be too much and he's just basically trauma dumping on a girl, then that's too much. But, I mean, I'm not saying guys don't have feelings and they can't talk about their, like, situations and things, but, I mean, you don't really have to sit there and trauma dump on your girlfriend.
Trauma dump. I've never heard that before.
It just became a thing.
Here. Trauma dumping. Let me scoot over here and get the picture. Okay, there we go. That's better. So, what you're telling me is, if a guy's playing football and he gets kicked off the team, you don't want him coming crying to you about it.
No, I don't want him to.
No, you don't. You wouldn't feel good about that.
Mm-mm,
How many of your guys that you were talking to, because I know that's what you call dating now, how many of those guys have cried in front of you?
Probably about all of them besides two.
And how do you feel when a guy cries?
Very uncomfortable, and it kind of cringes me out. It's just kind of like I don't know what to do. I've never handled that type of situation my entire life growing up because I never had to, so I don't really know how to do that, I guess you could say.
Do you feel like they want you to be their mommy?
Yeah, 100%.
But you don't want to be their mommy, right?
No, I don't want to coddle somebody that I'm dating.
The wind or a ghost. This is an old house built in 1875. Is that a text message or a chat?
Is it text message?
Ah, okay.
Pull up the chat though.
Right, let's get the chat up here in case somebody jumps on.
I don't know if I can.
That's
Okay, maybe not, but
That's all right. So where are you going tonight?
I have show choir rehearsal at school.
Speaking of that, we were at a football game the other day, right? And there was a male cheerleader there.
Oh yeah,
And you said he was gay.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I don't necessarily have a problem with it because there have been guys on the cheer team before, but it's also like kind of unfair because a girl can't go and try out for the boys basketball team, or a girl
She can't?
no,
Oh.
or a girl can't go try out. I mean, like girls go on the football team, but they don't really get much playing time at all.
Yeah.
The girl just kind of sits there on the field and doesn't do anything, sits on the sidelines, but the boy, if a boy wants to be on a cheer team or something, he's allowed to play, which I think is
Well, I noticed he didn't have any pom-poms.
Yeah,
I
they
wonder
do
why
that.
was
There's
that?
okay, so that's the middle school cheerleading team, and there's also a high school cheerleading team. There's a boy on that one too. He's one of my friends. He doesn't get pom-poms either.
What's up with that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I was listening to someone today, and I had heard similar things, but they have lowered the bar for women in the services like the Army, the Navy, the Marines, and the police force. And this is allowing women to come in that aren't actually as fit as the men are. For example, this guy said that in the Marines, a man has to be able to do 100 pull-ups, and a woman only has to do 15. They both get a perfect score. Okay. Nobody knows we're alive here, so just have to put up with the noise.
He said sorry.
So what do you think about that?
I still find
Do you think
it,
women should be in the military?
I don't know. I mean, I think women are a lot more scared than men are. So I feel like a woman is more likely to run away from a fight than a man is. I feel like a man would stay and fight and a woman would just want to run away.
Well, there are exceptions, of course, and
Yeah.
I think if they can do the same thing the men can do, and they want to be there, I think they should have the right to be
Yeah.
there. The problem is we're lowering the standard for the women and keeping the same standard for the men. And even with the standard lowered, the statistic were 65% of the women still failed to pass the test.
Yeah.
So when they get out there on the field, the problem is it puts the man in danger because in the police force, the men and the women together as a team, they get attacked more than the two men together as
Yeah.
a team. I guess because people feel like they can maybe take them. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But that kind of goes back to where are all the real men? If men were filling these positions, why would women want to be in them? And does a woman really want to be on the front lines? Can you imagine yourself fighting on a front
No.
combat line?
Mm-mm.
See, and as I said, there are exceptions, outliers, but I really don't think that there's any place for women on the front lines. But with that being said, we have a lot of feminine men now.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the men aren't able to pass the test like they
Yeah.
used to.
That's true.
So what do you think about, out of all the boys in school that you know, what percentage would you consider to be masculine? 50%, 75, 25%? That's like
I'd have to say 10.
10%.
Maybe 5. There's not very many. And the ones who do consider themselves masculine are just rude, and when they get in a relationship, they turn into a simp.
Turn into a simp. Why do you think that is?
Probably because they have some issues that they're dealing with on their own, like mommy issues, and a girl comes around and wants to be with them, so, you know.
Well, why do you think Andrew Tate's so popular among young people? Why do you think so? Okay,
Probably-
first tell me why you think people like him.
I think people hate him more than they like him, but the people who do like him because he makes some good points and he's funny. Like, he makes good points in his videos. And a lot of people just don't like him because they think he's misogynistic. Back to that word. Everything goes back to that word.
Well, from what I see, everything is misogynistic. If you don't agree with something a girl says or does, then if you think a woman doesn't deserve, forget that. A woman shouldn't be on the front lines of the combat field, you're considered to be misogynistic.
Yeah.
Or if you think a woman shouldn't be laying bricks, or lifting heavy objects, or working on certain construction sites, you're considered to be misogynistic.
Yeah.
If you think a woman is better qualified in a daycare than up on a high-rise building working with the steel because she doesn't have the physical strength as a man, you're considered misogynistic.
Yeah.
Misogynistic actually means to hate women and to be strongly prejudiced.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. I looked up the word prejudice, but to be prejudiced, to have an opinion is not to be prejudiced against someone. I agree, there are women who are tougher than men. And women like that, should they desire to be on the police force or on the front lines of combat, I think they should be. But that's not really the case. It's a very small percentage, less than 1%.
Yeah.
But as you're saying, we're having the same problem with the men nowadays, so I'm not sure what we're going to do about that.
Yeah.
What do you think the solution is for this lack of masculinity? How can what do you think these young boys or young men need?
I think they need to listen to, I don't know what to call them. People like Andrew Tate. I feel like
Yeah.
they need to start
They
taking
need a mentor.
Yeah, a mentor.
Yeah, well, I think it's a good idea. And we're gonna stop with that. She's gotta go to, what are you going to?
Rehearsal.
Choir practice. So, her dad, get a mentor. If you'd like to get my help personally, marksinspiration.com is my website, and we gotta go. Thanks for joining us. Take care.